I just want to take a moment. Green shirt, the one who's singing God Hates F Slurs. I just want to wish him specifically. I want to wish him happy Pride. Let's just watch him. God hates fags. God hates fags. Happy Pride. I'm sorry. Let's just roll the intro. Roll the intro, Clark. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Clarkson. I know I took a week off. I was filming a reality show that's going to be coming out very soon in about a month, and I'm super excited about it. So I was in Los Angeles. I was going to do a video, but it was just, I didn't realize how much filming was involved. Like it's work. It really is work. Like obviously it's reality, but it is work. So I had to push the video off because I just had too much on my plate. And I hope you guys can understand that. But we're back this week and we are talking about Pride Month. I am not entirely against Pride. In fact, I think it does serve some form of purpose. But there are a lot of problems that I have with it and a lot of problems that are currently showcasing themselves in the media as of like 3 years ago. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the clip that I made on my Instagram and on my TikTok, which is just about a minute long, that explains how I feel about Pride. And then I'm going to elaborate on that with some other examples as to why I feel that way.
Since it's June, I have to make this very clear since a lot of people think that they represent my sexuality. This is not Pride. This is not Pride. I'm not against Pride being a day or being a parade, but what I am against is us turning love is love into we love to have sex. And if we're going to be honest here, Pride has clearly been taken over by radical left-wing activists who have other political goals that really have nothing to do with lesbian or gay equality. With all of that being said, and us being aware of the current state our community is in, Pride can still serve a purpose. Like it or not, there are still gay men and women in this country who are fearful of being who they are. What Pride should be about is telling those people that it is okay to be who they are and that they can live their lives authentically and freely. Pride should not be about changing the minds of people who disagree with us. It should be about making each one of us strong enough to withstand any potential persecution we may face.
I think I pretty much summed up how I feel about Pride. I don't think that Pride is a problem in and of itself. I think where our problem lies, first of all, is what it has become. Now, I didn't partake, I'm only 26, so I didn't partake in Pride a long time ago. But my understanding of what Pride was supposed to be was that Pride was about love. It wasn't about sex. Sex is obviously associated with being in a relationship and loving someone, but it wasn't about sex. It was us saying, hey, we're just like you. We just want to be equal, and this is who we are. We're not going to change. We weren't appeasing religious bigots, but we also weren't trying to entirely change the social fabric to accommodate us and give us special privileges. There's a very big difference between what Pride is now and what the message was supposed to be. But what it's become now, and as you guys can see in the video, and I'm going to put some of the pictures up here, Pride has become a disgusting, degenerate month where gay men and activists and just sexually depraved people, and I'm not saying gay men are sexually depraved. I'm saying some men are sexually depraved and they just so happen to be gay. They use it as a month to show off their fetishes. People who are exhibitionists, who like to be seen, they get off on being seen in public naked. They get off on showing their kinks in public. They use this as a parade to fulfill their own sexual fetishes. Or they're activists who use us and use this parade to pursue their own political agendas. It seems to me that anybody who associates themselves with Pride is using it for their own personal gain and is not taking part in it because they truly believe in love is love and they truly believe in the message that's supposed to be behind Pride. Because I don't see it anymore. I've gone to many Pride parades, okay? And I know I've even debated on Jubilee about this. And I get told, oh, you're just going to the wrong, you're just basing everything off the internet. No, I'm not. I've been to Pride parades. I know what it's like, okay? So we're not going to gaslight anyone into saying that Pride is a family-friendly event. It is not, in the slightest. So my first issue with Pride is that it's become all about sex. My second issue, and as I stated previously, is that people use it to pursue their own political agendas. It just, to me, it seems like Pride is now a haven for people who are mentally unwell, sexually depraved, or schizophrenic activists. That's what Pride is. No sane gay man is dead set on Pride being what it is now. I'm sure most gay men go to Pride because it's just like a social function. But I can promise you, if you go and talk to an attractive gay man and you say, Pride is kind of like, ugh, they're going to agree with you. It's not what it used to be. It's literally, like I said, a haven for sexually depraved people who get off on being exhibitionists, mentally unwell people, and schizophrenic activists. That's all Pride is. I'm going to play this clip, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean.
We had a happy first Pride, didn't we, boys? Not first Pride. First Pride is me as trans, but they had a happy Pride, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? They're tired.
Y'all
Very happy Pride.
Yes, happy Pride. Woo-hoo.
I'm going to let you all know, because there seem to be some people that don't like us celebrating Pride. Honey, I'm proud of trans women, and I have to be proud, because often, more times than not, I get ridiculed for being who I am.
Look at Pete. Trying to show off his,
Hi, Petey. You like that fan?
he loves it.
So, we're going to be proud and loud. We're going to take up space.
Yes,
That
we
makes you
are.
feel uncomfortable. Like I said, no need to announce you're leaving. Just leave, please.
I feel it.
Because
I can't, because it's so clearly that this person has TikTok brain. But I'm going to be honest. The person that is making this video, that unfortunately is taking care of these children, is mentally ill. You can see it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm also not gonna gaslight myself into not speaking the truth. The person who made that video is clearly mentally ill. And I'm not saying mentally ill because they're trans. I'm saying mentally ill because they are. Like, you can tell by the eyes, you can just tell. Okay, something's going on there. So I'm trying not to overly hate on them, but this is what Pride has become, and it proves my point. I made a video about this person supporting their account because this is their Instagram account is that couple who walks or whatever, and they made videos of them walking, losing weight. This person just so happened to be trans. I don't have a problem with people who are trans. I don't. I have friends who are trans. I have no problem with it. I understand gender dysphoria is real, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I made a video actually in support of this couple and of their Instagram page saying, hey, we shouldn't be hating on them because they were getting vile comments while they're exercising, trying to get healthier. So I made a video saying, like, we shouldn't be shitting on people for trying to do better, for trying to work out. Meet them where they are. We should be encouraging them. We should not be saying, hey, fatso, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's how the comments were on their page. So I made a video in support of them. And then I see this come out. And I'm like, whoa. Pride is not where you take your kids. I wish it could be. I wish that Pride could be a place where gay families and straight families go. And it's an overall accepting place. You know what I mean? Where we walk, we're fully clothed. It's more about actually loving one another regardless of your sexual orientation or regardless of who you are, whether it's your race. There should be a unity parade, but there should not be like this exclusive pride parade that only includes minority groups. I don't know. It's just very exclusive to me, and I don't agree with dividing people like that. So I would love to go to some form of unity parade that includes gay people, that includes gay families, and doesn't pander to religious activists, but it also doesn't pander to left-wing activists. But all in all, Pride is not appropriate for kids. If Pride was like that, was like more of like a unity parade and people were fully clothed, I would say, sure, bring your kids and teach them a solid lesson. But as it is now, I would never take my future kids to Pride. I wouldn't want that person to be my parent. Because I feel like I'm just going to say that. The problem is that you're bringing your kids to Pride and then you're gaslighting people when they have concerns about it. There are naked people flashing everything at Pride. And I know you guys are like, oh, Americans are just so conservative over clothing. Yeah, we are. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not wanting kids to see sexual body parts of strangers. And when you have a parade like that, where people are kind of open to express themselves in that way and know that there are children that are going to be there because these parents are being lied to, saying it's a safe space for children and encouraging it, who do you think is going to go and show themselves off? Because I hate to break it to you, but the P3 does, they live among us, okay? Who do you think is going to go to these types of parades if they know that parents are being encouraged to bring their children, and it's also okay for them to essentially, even if they're not fully showing a frontal nude, expose themselves in front of them? So I'm just honestly, it's frustrating because the message behind Pride, I think, is still needed. I think that if, obviously, in an ideal world where all gay people were accepted, we would have a unity parade where, you know, everybody's included. That's not how it is. I deal with the religious right all the time. That's not happening anytime soon. But that should be the ultimate goal. But with that being said, I'm not against Pride. I think that Pride should be a weekend. Pride should be a parade. Pride should be a day. But the fact that we have a whole month for it, and not just a month, it's fine even if, you know, we just had a month. We have all these other days throughout the year that we celebrate. Just, you know, International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, May 17th. International Lesbian Day, October 8th. International Pronouns Day, third Wednesday in October. Intersex Awareness Day, October 26th. Asexual Awareness Week, last full week in October. It's like this, it's too much. Because here's the thing, Pride is supposed to encompass all of that, right? So why do we need separate days to do it? And people are getting annoyed with it because it's so exclusive that it's not unifying anymore. The message of Pride used to be unifying, even though Pride didn't include straight people. It used to be unifying because it was like, hey, we are just like you. That's unifying. Even if straight people aren't included, the message was, we are just like you. We just want to live equally with you. But now it seems like we want to be catered to and we want special privileges, which is why we're starting to see backlash. Because the message is no longer unifying, it's divisive. And I wish that Pride could get back to a place where it can actually unify people under a good message, and it can showcase good gay men and women and even transgender people who are just living their lives normally. Because that's what it should be about, and it's not showing that anymore. And it's not gay people's fault. It's not a specific group's fault. It's just the nature of the beast. The organizations that put on these parades and profit off of them, they have to make money. And the message, the good message behind Pride no longer makes them money because we are actually equal. I genuinely hope that Pride can get back to where it was and we can scale back. But unfortunately, I just know that's not how the world works. In an ideal world, it would, but that's not how it works. What's going to happen is that the pendulum is going to swing too far, and then that'll make Pride come back to normal, but it might be too late because people are going to start to have animosity, and we're just going to continue going down this cycle of like the pendulum, the social pendulum swinging too far right and too far left, when people in the middle need to just start speaking up and being honest about it. It's the gay men that are normal that need to go to these things and be like, and stop being so, you know, tolerant of everything and saying, hey, we're allowed to gatekeep some of this. We are allowed to say, that's not good. We don't want to be associated with that. We don't have to tolerate everything under the sun. So I really hope that Pride can get to a good place and that we can celebrate it without all the delinquency, without all the activism, because it's clear that that's all it's being used for. But the old message behind Pride is what's most important. And if you're somebody who struggles with their sexuality, who feels like it's wrong to be who they are, I understand your struggle and I get it. And I hope that you can get to a place where you can accept who you are, because there's nothing wrong with being who you are. And that's the message that you should be hearing this Pride Month. You shouldn't be hearing about political activism. You shouldn't be hearing about kinks at Pride. All you need to hear is that you are loved and you are okay being who you are. Don't let the loud people at Pride or the loud people on the right try to sway you in either direction. Just be who you are. Once you are, it'll be entirely freeing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. We've gotten to the point in the episode where we read one of your reviews from Apple Podcast. As you guys know, if you rate this show on Apple Podcasts 5 stars and leave a review, I will read it aloud at the end of an episode. This one is from Events with Tuck. It is, thank you so much for having this platform and holding not just the radical left accountable, but also the radical right. I am a gay conservative and I have found it hard to relate to members of the community most of my life. Have you found it challenging having a debate with someone who just won't listen, and how did you navigate it? Yeah, I've debated with a lot of people who will not listen. I think what clicked for me and how I navigate it is once you realize that the person is not going to listen, just focus on your stance and hold true to it. Because a lot of times when I go into debates with good faith and I try to understand that person's point of view, but a lot of times people don't do that. And I think once you realize that you're participating in a bad faith debate, just hold true to your stance and then respectfully disassociate with that person. That's pretty much all you can do, really. There's a lot of people who are not going to listen to you. I find myself in a debate with somebody who's not going to listen. I think about the person like you who feels like they can't relate to anybody online, and I go, okay, I'm speaking for this person. I'm not speaking to change this person's mind. And I think that a lot of times that can be something to find solace in when you are in a very frustrating position like that. And that is all I've got when it comes to the reviews. But I appreciate you guys joining this week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, and I will talk to you next week.